All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week number 144. My name is Mr. McLogan, and thank you so much for joining me tonight on this open live Q&A. I didn't have a special theme that I wanted to go through for this weekend because it was kind of a busy weekend for myself. So I just wanted to kind of open up any kind of questions that you guys may have. It can be on math or just in general that you guys have, and just always a reminder that if you do have any questions, you guys can always go ahead and post your questions. Sorry, I got to go and pull up my screens over here. If you do have any math questions or any general questions, the best thing is going to put them into Special Live Q&A. But hey, Special, hey, 2K challenge for a video because I chose my name. Awesome. And Special, good to have you on. Josh, hello. And Barney, yo. Hey, Christy, good to have you on. And Tristan, I am doing very well. Thank you so much. Shout out Carrie. And hey, Special. Awesome. It's good to have you guys on. Thank you so much. I actually haven't even been in my studio and actually all throughout this day. So it's been a while. So I actually need to go ahead and check on what questions you guys have actually submitted for Open Live Q&A. Let me go and see if I have that open. There we go. And yes, I do know permutations and combinations, but I probably won't answer any questions just on there. It's been a while, definitely, since I've covered some of those. Riley, feel free to go ahead and submit your question. Although I don't handle a lot of calculus, at least on my live streams as of yet. I got to go back through a lot of that calculus curriculum. And you're welcome, Damian. So happy to be able to help you out. Napi said, good evening. I recently signed up to be a math tutor. That's awesome. Do you have any tips for a beginner? I'm not sure what you mean. Like for beginner, like as a math tutor, like how to, I don't know, what, be a better tutor? Give me maybe a little bit more information on that. And Emmanuel, good to have you on. Uh-oh. Okay. There you go. Good to have you on. And hey, Mary. Special says, my pre-calc teacher is not coming until November. Okay, so we have not been learning anything. So what do I recommend I do since we have not done anything but sit in class every time? That's a tough one. I mean, November's right around the corner. So I think at this point in time, I don't think there's much really you can do that's going to kind of like save anything at this point in time. You can always, maybe if there's another teacher, maybe in the building that might be able to help out, or like where you should be at that can maybe communicate, or maybe you know where that teacher, like what you should know. And I'm assuming maybe your other teacher has taught that course before. So maybe there's like some material, some homework or something that you can kind of rely on. I think that'd be kind of the best case, but hopefully if you can just kind of get where you're at, or where you need to be till November, till your teacher returns, that's going to be kind of the best for on that. But yeah, that's always kind of a tough deal. Aiden, I have a ton of Algebra 2 videos, Algebra 2. So if you actually go on my channel and just look under playlist, or under my channel for Algebra 2 videos, then you'll definitely see a ton of stuff. Chupa, I am going to guess that you got A+++, like maybe like 100%, maybe. What do you think? Do you think open texting is memorization? No, I don't think it's memorization. I think memorization is like memorizing something. I think open book testing is, what you're basically doing is giving students a kind of like a fail safe, something for them to rely on. But I don't feel as that like is, I don't think of that as like cheating. I used to do that to my students all the time. I'd give them not so much open book, but I'd allow them to, bring in like their notes for their tests. And I don't see much, unless you're trying to assess students on what they can like remember or like recall things. I don't think there's that big of an issue with that. So as a first-time tutor, and I haven't done a ton of tutoring. It's not like I'm a professional tutor in that regard, but I think, I think that's one thing that's really helpful, or one thing that I've kind of found when I've been tutoring students is really trying to understand. And one thing I found as like a teacher as well is don't just assume why the student is confused. So the more questions you can ask to try to probe like their understanding of what they do understand, and what they don't understand, I think the better and easier it's going to be for you as a tutor. So to kind of give you a little context, I was doing some tutoring assignments for students. And like one of the things I always ask students is like, I'm going to like respond back to you. And it's not meant to be like a gotcha question. I'm not trying to like trick you or make you feel stupid. But sometimes I'm asking these questions just because I want to kind of know like what you exactly understand, if you understand a certain concept or not. So I think just like the more questions you can kind of ask rather than, if a student says, oh, I don't know how to do this, like don't waste your time. And I've done this many times where a student's like, I don't understand how to do this problem. And then I'll spend like 20 minutes explaining the problem. And everything I explained was stuff they kind of like already knew, but they were like so nice and polite. They didn't want to tell me to stop. And so I didn't really address their answer until like I asked them like, hey, does that help? And they're like, yeah, that did. That was good. But like, I don't understand this. And it was like, oh, I could have like saved 10 minutes of explaining if I just would have addressed it this way. So I think just constantly asking questions is probably the best tip I can give you. Ernesto, put it into the chat and that'll probably be the easiest way for me to be able to take a look at that. Why is the square root of -1i? Is there a logical reason for this? Well, I mean, that's part of your imaginary unit from there, but there's, I don't know who has a really good, I think 3 blue 1 brown has a really good video on imaginary numbers that you might want to check out that kind of goes into like explaining that kind of idea of I. Well, you're very welcome, Kara. Oh, I'll die if I take AP Calc. I mean, maybe. I mean, not really die. Hopefully not. But I mean, yeah. I mean, Calc can be very difficult for some students and not for others. I really think it is like how prepared you are for that course. Then you're not. And I think the preparation for that course is really going to kind of determine how easy or hard that course is going to be for you. I don't know. That's just a funny shirt. I don't have an answer though for you, but I was never sick. So that's why I can kind of relate to that. Yeah, once they asked their counselor for a transfer and they did that and I want to do that, but I'm scared they'll be behind since I did not since day 1 of class. And that was regarding what you're trying to, oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of I mean, it's a tough situation. I don't think there's any really way to like splice that. I mean, right. I mean, it's like you didn't have your teacher and then they're coming in November, but and my thought process is like still to like give your teacher the chance, for them to return and get you guys caught up. Right. I mean, it's not an easy situation for them as well. Like they know what they're kind of walking into in regard. So, depending on how long your teacher has been a teacher and what they're kind of expecting, like hopefully they're going to kind of give you guys the benefit of the doubt on a lot of things, but also try to do their best to get you caught up and from on there. So, yeah, I don't know the whole situation as far as your options or situation, but I think in this point, since you're so close to November, if you can maybe try to stick it out to like see how that first semester goes. And if it does end up being like a complete disaster, then maybe you can look into switching for the second semester from on there. But I always like to give that teacher a chance, to get you guys caught up to kind of make forward the long break that you guys had. Yeah, I mean, I've only taught in the United States, so I don't really know, but from a lot of the questions that I get from you guys all on live streams, I can definitely see that there is a big difference in questions from all over the world. Well, Aiden, if you want to go and submit a question, feel free. Again, at brianmclogan.com/Q&A. I will say like the transformations at absolute value is going to be the exact same transformations that you're going to see for quadratics, so if you can understand those, then you can understand the transformations on absolute value. There is it. Okay. Let me just try to get my thing. Do you have any tips for finding the range of a function rather than graphing? I mean, I always prefer graphing. I think graphing is going to be more likely than not the easier and fastest way to do it. But you could also find the domain of the inverse. So that means find the inverse of the function and then find the domain of that. So the domain of the inverse is the range of your original function. I don't think there's one thing that's more important. I don't think I can respond that way, but you know, I think both of them are going to be obviously integral parts of you understanding and doing well. I never actually really had to teach as much Common Core, and I really don't have as much experience except for the the parts that people don't like about Common Core. So yeah, you know, I think the purpose of a lot of the understanding of mathematics is really important. But I don't think I can stand behind like how everything has been implemented for Common Core. So, yes, create a cheat sheet. So if you go and take a look at my video, see I have a lot on cheat sheets. I think definitely that's a big one. That's interesting, Chrissy. I think I think for a lot of students that's as true as well. So, but that's interesting. Like, at least for me as a math student, I think I really would have struggled with online classes. But that's really good to see here that, or really good to hear that you kind of prefer that online environment. You know, I think you got to just over prepare, like do more and more examples. You know, if you feel like you're struggling for those tests, then make sure that you are extremely prepared for them. Like, you know, you should feel over prepared for your test. I think if you feel over prepared for your test, you're not going to feel like you're not going to function for those tests. So that would be my challenge for you, is to over prepare for your next test. No physics. I don't think anything is normal. I just take math as far as your own pace, you know, and if that's going to take you through 7th grade math in freshman year, then awesome. If it's not, it doesn't take you to 7th grade math senior year, then awesome. Like, there's no race. There's no medal for taking math as fast as you can, right? So take it at the pace that you feel is comfortable for you, that you can be successful, and move on from there. New concept. So it's probably the basic fundamentals. Yep, that's pretty much true for the first semester. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get into more in-depth conversation. You're going to get into more in-depth topics for sure. But I would say, yeah, usually that first semester in pre-calculus is very similar to like an algebra 2, you know, type of course. So a lot of just algebra from on there. I have no idea what you're actually asking me for that. So if you want to submit maybe a question on there, then at the link, then I'll be more than happy to maybe look a little deeper. And the rumor has been that they are a bad teacher. Okay, well, from other students I've taken the class, so I'm going with an open mind. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of context that I don't know about, right? And yeah, that could be an issue for sure. I don't know, you know, I don't, you know, and that could be true, and that could kind of blow everything up, you know, that you're hoping for. But maybe they're just people are salty from their, you know, maybe they are a good teacher, or maybe you're going to connect with them. So, I mean, there's just so many open questions at this moment. I just don't see, at least in my opinion, I don't see a point if you're only a couple weeks away from like having this teacher back to giving them a chance. I just don't see a whole bunch of benefit of like relying on hearsay from other students, you know? And unfortunately, yeah, it could be like you need to drop the class and you need to get a new teacher and like you wasted a semester. Like that could be the possibility. And I'm sorry for that, but, you know, I don't think there's always a perfect situation for every single class, for every single student. So, you know, sometimes it's just the reality and we got to like adjust from there, go from there. I just, in my view from like a teacher, I always like to give the teacher a benefit of doubt of like, all right, you've been gone. Let's see if you can get me caught up, you know? And that's just where I approach it. Mic is not working, Mr. McLogan. Can you tell me, what do you mean it's not working? Like, is it going in and out? Like go like this? Cause sometimes that is the benefit, or if it's just not, you just don't sound very well. Okay. Some math teachers, you know, like, I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time on physics, so it's not really something my forte, but yeah, you know, there's definitely some questions that I would do, and some questions I'd be like, it'd take way too long for me to remember this stuff. Yes, I did not like AP Calc much, or AP Physics. Do high school teachers track their old students? Oh, when they go to college. Maybe. I don't know. I never did, I guess. I mean, I don't know what you mean by track throw students. It's kind of weird. Like, but no, I have students all over the world that kind of like reach out to me, and it's like some of them like friend me on like Instagram or Facebook and stuff like that. Like I stay in touch with, but staying in touch with is a lot different than like tracking. So I'm not really sure what you mean by tracking. That just kind of, to me, kind of brings off a negative connotation, which I never did. Yes, Joe, definitely. Well, awesome, Austin. That's so cool. Congratulations and best of luck. Hope you do awesome. No, I do not do like any ACT, at least tutoring like directly. Okay, 3 days. That's not good. I haven't learned anything in pre-calc, and I always depend on your videos to help, but I can never find any. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But you're kind of at that like one point where it's like you can only study so much now, right? You have 3 days. So, I do your best to kind of go back, review your notes, review your homework, review your tests, review your quizzes, and do the best you can. Like you're at that point, it's like um, there's only so much studying is going to get you at this point. So I'd review the stuff that you've done that you feel kind of most comfortable with and move on from there. Best of luck. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear about that. But yeah, it's like you can only control what you can control. Right. And unfortunately, having teachers that weren't, that are not going to be a perfect fit is just kind of part of reality, right? I mean, you're going to have bosses, you're going to have jobs, blah, blah, blah. You're always going to have these things that are never going to be the right fit for you. So, kudos to you for like understanding where you're at and then saying, hey, what can I do? What can I do to make the best of this situation, to do my best on this test or quiz? And, that's, that just kind of comes into, you playing your part and going for it. So wish you the best of luck. I don't really think much of Eddie Wu, but I've never met Eddie Wu or talked to him. But I would always, I do think what he's done is absolutely amazing, and I would always love to, chat with him. I think we'd have a really, really good conversation. But I really do think he's doing a great job on the other part of the world. What school grades level do you grades start to matter? Usually, at least in the high school, like once you get into middle school, high school, that's usually where things are going to start getting pretty important. Again, it all depends. Like a lot of schools, I definitely talk with your counselor. But GPA and ACT, SAT has kind of like been this balance, back and forth here. And this is not my forte, so I really can't tell you anything regarding on that. But, I think it's important to make sure you're always, trying to improve on GPA, but I don't think some students, will like drop my class if they weren't getting a certain enough grade because of their GPA. And I don't think I don't think our system should be built that you have to be dropping a class because you're not getting the GPA you want. Right. And I'm not saying they were wrong because they did that. I understand their scholarships and everything else that's like on the line, but I just hope we can maybe improve upon our system, our educational system, where students don't feel like they need to drop a course because they're not getting the right grade, nor should like a teacher have like that much power over another student on what their grade is going to be, So that's just my opinion. Yeah. Go Mustangs. Absolutely awesome. Yes, I would definitely even start with abstract, like upper level mathematics. Even getting to like the pre-calculus, kind of world, even like getting to that upper level. I would even kind of start from down there. Just by the way, I mentioned this last week. I took the PSAT and I felt pretty good, pretty good about it. Awesome, lasted well, and didn't try to cram. Good. Well, you're very welcome, Tristan. Well, Josh, go and study. Go for it. Just get your work done. College algebra is a lot of practice. So I would just keep on doing practice problems and do even more if you need to, just keep on going at it, get those practice problems done. John, I videos on me now too. Well, awesome, Antek. So happy to help you out. Well, awesome, Dishika. So happy to be able to help you out. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to how many questions I'll be able to get to. Oh, there's quite a bit. I knew you guys are going to start throwing in the questions. All right, let's go and see. Maybe if we have any questions. Let's see some math questions. Again, these are all posted from you guys on there. Let's go and see what I can get done. Hey, Mr. Albin, recently sick and I've fallen back on my studies. I'm currently taking AP Calculus, so I was wondering if there was any good resources and ways to keep up. You know, AP. Oh yeah, I got it. Man, I got to go through these. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot of AP resources. I mean, there's a ton of amazing resources for AP Calculus. So I don't know if anybody in the chat has any great AP resources, but there's like a ton out there. Like, I mean, a ton. I think even if like you just go on Google, there's free, there's paid. You can definitely get a lot of good questions. If you see the link right above on my chat, it's also in the description as well as in the it's in the description as well as right above. You can just go and post questions on there. But yeah, I would just, you know, in my opinion, I would just kind of take a look and see, you know, what resources are out there like online for free and kind of see which one you kind of agree, like kind of helps you out the most and go from there. Does which AP math you take matter if colleges, if you're not going to math? I don't think as much. I mean, if you're not going into like a math degree, like what does it really matter what math class you're taking, right? I mean, at least in me, like I don't think that should really matter. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, I've actually never spoken to the organic teacher as well, but I think that'd be a really cool video as well. Thank you. And I say, well, awesome, Walrus. Happy to be able to help you out and give you a little bit of some aspiration. I'm back. Well, hey, Phantom, good to have you on. You are very welcome, J Black 7. And guys, I was gonna try to I'm getting a lot of these questions for on there, which is absolutely awesome. But I think I'm actually not gonna be able to do the math questions. I don't know tonight. I don't know. A lot of people ask me about AP Physics. I don't have any like thoughts on AP Physics. I mean, AP Physics is AP Physics. I never took it. I took physics in college and I took it in high school. So I don't really have any thoughts or any opinion on AP Physics. But it's like the third question. I'm not really sure where all those are coming from or what the kind of purpose or mean from there. Yeah, I know what to do. I got to go through. We'll see any other questions on there. But yeah, I think so. I got about 7 questions. I do apologize if any of those questions are time urgent, guys. But I think I'm actually going to end the stream a little bit early for tonight. Like I said, I've actually had a really, really busy weekend. So I think I'm just going to have to do an early stream for this night. But I will definitely be back next week. If you guys do have any more questions, please go ahead and submit them into the stream, and I'll make sure to go and get them for you guys next week. All right, guys, I'm going to say good night for tonight, and hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.